again, I'm going to go over a couple of different things today. Very important. As you can imagine, I get a lot of email, text, questions from people all around the world, not just like coaches, but players, all ages, all levels, parents, adults, whatever. I just want to go over a few things because obviously there's so much stuff, you know, that's on the internet, and there's a lot of stuff out there, and people kind of just wrap it the way they want to wrap it. But let me just give you a few things that are very important, okay? And everything that we talk about is backed up by science, okay? And a lot of research. So we're just not like throwing things out there. I want to go, because I got like 3 or 4 email this week just on the serve, all right? And as you've heard us say many times, at some point when you get into this power position, or you get into this cocking phase, or you get into this trophy position, no matter what you hear or what you read, okay, almost 70%, 70, goes on the back leg. That's a fact. I mean, some people are telling me they don't put any on the back leg, or you want more on the front leg. No, it's not going to happen long, but there'll be 70%. Now, this is just a fact. Now, it doesn't go there long, and it gets even trickier when you do pinpoint, because you're going forward, and then it's hard to kind of load, because people want to go linear. That's that way. And this is vertical, okay? So I'm just telling you, okay, sometimes you got to look powerful before the power, okay? You want to load before you explode. But what happens is you got all this going on. You're tossing the ball, you're going forward, you're trying to hit a moving object. I get all that stuff. I'm just telling you, okay? And there'll be people out there, don't worry about your back leg. Now, maybe if you're a club player and you only get to play once a week, then you're not going to be able to load and jump and do the things like you see on television. But a lot of you guys are going to college free. A lot of you guys are going to play pro tennis. So you should learn to do it the ultimate way. So just remember the back leg when you get into this position, okay? You want to put more weight on your back leg, because a lot of people are going forward too soon. Next thing, on the serve, and I've told some of you this many times, when you take the racket back, okay, how you take it back, whether you're going to do it this way, that way, this way, rodic, that really doesn't matter. How you take it back. We've talked about this before. That's what I would call just a personal interpretation of how you want to do it, your style, whatever. Don't say, well, that's the way Alcaraz took it back. Well, why don't we take it back like John McEnroe back in the day? We could get into all that. That's a style. That has nothing to do with it. Unless the coach is trying to use that as a corrective technique to make something more rhythmic or whatever. That's a cue. That's a teaching cue. That has nothing to do with it. I tell you guys all the time, how this is synchronized to that is the moment of truth. That's the biggest thing. The other thing, when you take the racket back, make sure, this is the #1 problem I see with a lot of juniors, especially the girls, when you take it back, you have to turn more. There should always be a coil and a recoil. There's a coil and a recoil. A lot of you aren't even like getting your hip turned, okay, your shoulder turned enough, and more weight on the back foot and the hips down. Down. Look, I don't have to think about it. These are fundamentals. What I mean by that, these are like basic common threads that should happen on any player. Now, depending on how much people can practice, like I said, club players, whatever, that's something different. But for you guys, you should learn the right way. Final thing, the ball toss, or your tossing arm. The biggest mistake, okay, that we see here with a lot of you, when you toss the ball, some of you are going like this. You're going this way, and your arm goes straight that way. And you don't want that, okay? If anything, your arm would go, if you're righty, your arm would go more towards towards the net post. Look, that alone, look what it does. Look at my right shoulder. Watch it. Just when I go like that. Now look when I go like that. Not that you couldn't turn. You can still do that. I'm saying a lot of times there's a guy, Federer. I don't know if you've heard of him. A lot of potential. He was like this. His arm was like this way. But don't do it because Federer does it. I'm just saying, okay, you have to get like 1 o'clock or 1:30 where that arm should be. Very important. Okay, I'm seeing the girl playing next to me. I forget her name, Edie or something like that. Doing like this. Your arm straight out. Okay, instead of that way. Okay. Now the next thing, the number one problem, and I know depending on the day, I say there's like 100 number one problems, and it depends on the student. Everybody opens up way too soon. Okay. Both the two little girls playing on the end court, opening up way too soon on the serve. Okay? What? You got to try every